Adam has it out with Nick over Sally, and Diane is shocked to find a stranger in her room. Today on The Young and the Restless, Victoria explodes into a fury. Adam crosses paths with Sally and Nick, and Diane kisses Jack. At society, Sally arrives and looks in at Nick. She goes in and he looks up. She grins and he gets up to pull out her seat. He's so delighted she said yes to this. Sally always loves to have supper with a coworker. There's so much to discuss. Chelsea is gloomy at Crimson Lights when Adam steps in and says, "Hey there." He asks her to contemplate taking a holiday with him and Connor. It would be nice for the three of us. What do you say? Chelsea proposes he and Connor have a father and son excursion. Adam realizes something is awry and asks her if he can buy her supper so they can talk about it. She isn't hungry and doesn't want to converse. Adam convinces her by pledging to exclusively talk about Connor. Victoria arrives to Billy's office and tells him that she went home to hang out with Johnny, but he won't look at her, won't eat. He's shutting her out. Billy says he's not getting back to him either. Victoria feels he's furious with them but notes that the situation with Chelsea isn't going anywhere. The youngster will have to deal with this sometime. She reveals that Chelsea had the guts to storm into her office and urge they all work together to nudge Johnny into a relationship with her. Billy's horrified and wonders what is wrong with that woman. He can't believe she went to Victoria and kept pushing after he spoke to her. Victoria had to threaten her to get her to go and believes this is merely the beginning. There was a huge blunder on our part, in my opinion. She knew Chelsea would want more. She went against her better inclinations. Billy reminds her they went through with her requests since a lot of other people knew the truth. Victoria believes everything was okay, in theory, but she wishes she'd been more persistent about waiting. Johnny didn't want to know who his biological mother was. Maybe he'd have left that door forever locked. Billy is second-guessing their decision too. Victoria moans Johnny is confronting something he didn't want to, and it's because this is what Chelsea wanted. 10 years of soap's villainy. Interview with Kathleen Gaddy. Diane arrives outside the Abbott residence and reads the text from the unknown person one more time before ringing the doorbell. Jack invites her in, and she explains she got a new dump truck for Harrison. Jack will make sure he gets it in the morning. He notes on her being in a spending mood what with the basket for Phyllis. Diane doesn't want to talk about her. Jack notices she still seems anxious. Diane's phone gets a notice. She reads, "Where are you?" "I'm waiting." She frets. Jack feels it's evident something is going on and asks, "Talk to me." Diane reveals she brought the gift. At society, Nick tells Sally she won over the marketing staff, all the folks who were calling for her head. Sally took full responsibility and then wowed them with her charm. She learned it from him. He's been straight with her from the beginning, and it's quite refreshing. Nick assures her she nailed it. He asks about her plan for success moving forward. Sally wants to learn from her mistakes and provides him some specifics about what she'll do. Nick wonders about overthinking things. Sometimes it's best to just leap in. Sally says they make a fantastic team and inspire each other. Sally and Nick go to talking about his history. "Tell me about New Hope." Nick is proud of what he accomplished there and is still on the board, so it's not like he walked away forever. "Very satisfied where I am right now. I needed a change." She hopes he's not overworking himself. Nick says coming back to Newman is exhilarating. "No one is more astonished than I am." An emotional scene unfolded at the Abbott home. Diane asks Jack for honesty. "Have you abandoned the struggle against me too?" She needs to hear him say he forgives her. Jack may forget the past and start a new beginning with a clean slate. He hopes that's enough. Diane asks if it will really be a clean slate. He answers yes. Unless what Phyllis said is true, and there is something in her history in Los Angeles that could be her undoing. Diane fumes that this is never ending and that Jack reminds her she earned the reactions she receives from people. She could have stayed in LA. Diane couldn't since Kyle and Harrison are there. And you. The only 3 people whose opinions count to me. She lives in terror that one of her opponents will unearth anything that will affect their opinion of her, whether it's true or not. Jack sees how hard this is and tells her to take the clean slate she's being provided. Diane appreciates him so much. She pulls him into a kiss. After, Jack gently reminds her that he doesn't want her misinterpreting his relationship for something else totally. At Chancellor, Victoria and Billy discuss about how they hate to see Johnny suffering. She has no notion to make it better. Billy pledges they'll sort it out together. Victoria thinks a portion of their son is terrified that they told him for a reason. Billy says they need to prove to him that his world won't change. Victoria will keep telling him that, but how can they make him believe it and feel it? Billy offers family counseling. We can't unring this bell. Victoria says they need to maintain the lines of communication open. Billy continues, in the spirit of that, there is something I have to share with you. At Society, Sally and Nick discuss dessert preferences. They're beaming at each other when Adam and Chelsea stroll in. Greetings are briefly exchanged. Sally assures Nick, he obviously knows. Nick proposes they go someplace different for dessert. Sally doesn't want to miss the bread pudding and responds, not on your life. She then says it's awkward with Adam around despite having moved on. Nick asks if she's sure about that. Sally has made it obvious to Adam that they're through and there's no way forward for them. Nick knows she's told him that and herself too. Sally says, this is complicated and confusing. Nick teases that they're coming close to chatting about non-business issues. At Adam's table, he grumps about Sally cozying up to the boss. Chelsea neglects to make a dig and Adam notices. He gives her a pep talk about Connor being the one thing they've done properly. Chelsea recognizes her successes with Connor but laments her failures with Johnny. Adam asks why she's brought up Johnny. She informs him Victoria and Billy told the kid that she's his biological mother. Adam asks why they'd tell him that. Chelsea persuaded them too. Adam can't believe she didn't notify him about this. It's huge and affects Connor. Chelsea didn't know they'd go through with it. She won't broach the subject with Connor unless they've discussed it first. She adds that Johnny is upset and doesn't want her in his life at all. Adam looks at Sally and Nick for a second. At their seat, Nick catches Sally observing Adam and asks if Sally wants to chat about the two of them, or about her and Adam. Sally wants to stick to shop chat for tonight. Is it okay? Nick promises her they'll do whatever she wants. She smiles. At Adam and Chelsea's table, he recalls how brave she was back in the day and made a hard decision about what was best. I want to do the right thing, but I continually make the wrong choice or love the wrong person. She's starting to worry she'll never find the solution. Adam advises her to stop being so hard on herself. Maybe she could think about starting over elsewhere. They may negotiate an arrangement where Connor's concerned. Chelsea can't walk away from Johnny now. Adam recommends a retreat. Due to her advocacy, Chelsea is required to be present to assist with the consequences now that Johnny is aware of the truth. Adam tries to encourage her to decrease her expectations. Chelsea contends she's a great mom and asks, something has to go right for me someday, right? At Chancellor, Billy lets Victoria know that Chelsea stopped by with a gift for Johnny. He told her it was inappropriate. Victoria sniffs about her trying to purchase Johnny's love. Billy assumes it was an offering and reveals it was a baby blanket she had when she was pregnant with Johnny. She wanted him to know he was always adored. Victoria fumes that she warned her not to make any attempts to influence Johnny. Where do we draw the line? Victoria's tirade against Chelsea's intrusion. She has no right to force their son into a relationship he doesn't want. She's done letting that woman invade their lives. Chelsea has no boundaries and pushed until she got what she wanted. Billy asks what she means by she's done. Victoria explains if Johnny wants to talk to Chelsea when he's 18, that's ok, but for now, she's seeing Chloe and remarks they got a lot accomplished. Nick obviously has a lot to think about. Sally observes, then my job here is done. She walks away. Inside, Adam observes them. At the Abbott mansion, Diane apologizes for misreading the moment and kissing Jack. She's been starving for a sympathetic ear, and he's been generous when he has every reason not to be. She will respect his boundaries and is grateful for the clean slate. She rushes off and leaves Jack thinking. Chelsea is carrying the baby blanket in her suite when Billy knocks at the door. He asks to come in and she guesses Johnny still doesn't want to talk to her. Billy says he and Victoria agree that they want their son to have some space for now. I'm sorry. Chelsea nods and cries. At Newman, Nick is working when Adam comes in and shuts the door. No more lies, Nick. You and Sally are sleeping together, aren't you? You couldn't wait to make your move. Diane lets herself into her suite and stops short, astonished to find someone in there waiting for her. The man, played by Trevor Street John, across the room criticizes her for ignoring him and tells her it's upsetting after everything he's done to help her. Diane closes the door. He says, "I thought we had an understanding, an arrangement. To find out now that I can't trust you, Diane, would be a terrible disappointment."